In Madison today, election officials tested over 100 electronic voting machines in preparation for a secure and accurate election on Tuesday. WMTV's Mackenzie Davis shows us why this process they do every election is even more important this year.
Election integrity top of mind for voters this presidential election.
This one's tested good for Ward 8.
All 108 electronic voting machines underwent testing Wednesday before they head to their designated polling locations across the city of Madison on Tuesday.
We have test ballots that have marked a way that we've predetermined, and then we have a tallied expected. So once we've fed all the ballots through, then we will print the results tape, make sure the results on the tape match what we expected to do.
Deputy Clerk Jim Verbick says the importance of public equipment testing is for transparency.
I think certainly with the amount of turnout and the excitement around the election that people are very eager to see everything and make sure it's going. We do this for every election, whether people show up or not. So actually it's nice to have people show up because usually it's very quiet here.
Madison resident Tony Arneson participated in early in-person voting.
I have my political beliefs.
But political beliefs aside, Arneson is working as an election observer this season.
To make sure that the voting machines are being tested and accurate, and so that the election is done correctly.
Making sure accuracy and fairness are also being counted in such a high-stakes election.
I think it's very important, incredibly important that people are out, making sure that things are being done fairly and accurately.
After hours of testing on Wednesday, the election equipment is ready to be locked up and securely stored until it's used on Tuesday. In Madison, Mackenzie Davis, WMTV 15 News.
Early in-person absentee voting still underway in Wisconsin. That wraps up on Sunday. A reminder to check your polling location before you head out at myvote.wi.gov.